as Jessup has been named the luckiest woman as well as the unluckiest woman. She also has been given the name Miss Unsinkable. I'll explain how she got those nicknames in just a second. So Violet was a stewardess
Enemies
and
are dropping
nurse
into
who
the
was on
area.
board
Watch the
three
skies.
big sister ships. Disaster struck each of them. It struck
Prep
into the
time's over. Now
HMS
you deploy
Olympic,
to the
while
war
one
zone.
ship on a flight with the HMS Hawk. Then she was on the HMHS Britannia when it struck a mine at sea. And lastly, she was on board the
Don't
Titanic.
make this look
She
fun.
managed to escape
You
all
got the green
three
light.
of
You're
these
going to
disasters.
Warzone.
At this
Grab
point,
your
she
gear
was
and
on
shoot.
the first.
You're up in
The
3.
first thing she couldn't
Is
have
it
gotten
engagement
back
or
from these
simple?
ships ever
Weapons
again.
free on all
That's why
trips.
she's been given the name the luckiest.
That's what you just said, basically. She should not get back on.
Survive all of these
Let's get this
but
done.
not
Your team leader. Set a drop point for your squad, soldier. Welcome to the cash-grabbing land of powered-up mutations. Be the last team alive to win. You've got gas closing in fast. Unass yourself to the safe zone.
On how death can strike anyone at any time. As soon as the lecture was done, he popped a mint into his mouth. The mint then slid to the back of his throat, choked on it, and died right then and there. So yeah, I'd say his lecture was pretty spot on. In a report, Fox area, now, the report is kind of controversial. Some say it's all biased tale. Others say that it truly did happen. Now, if it did happen, then this makes a problem. So back in the day, there was a man named Harry Ziegler who broke a woman's heart. She was so heartbroken.
Eliminate all targets in the AO.
Her brother was so devastated and angry at Harry that he vowed to get revenge on him. So he went out to find Harry with his gun and shot at him. Harry fell to the floor, and the brother, thinking that he had succeeded in killing him,
Now or
grabbed
never,
his
soldier.
gun and
You can live a
left.
mutant or die a human.
The
I know what
bullet
I'd
didn't
choose.
strike him. Instead, it hit and got lodged into a near.
We all must choose a side. He is hostage, along with the Catholics. What fun. Might you be tempted to join me?
Do you know Cheez-It made extra toasty?
Of course. On it, need it, cheesy.
Strong enamel is your best defense against erosion and cavities. Reinforce that defense with Enamel Active Shield.
Love can get a little messy. Good thing there's Resolve. Love the love, resolve the mess.
Illegal immigration is a crisis in America and Ohio. Senator Sherrod Brown backed President Biden, voting to give illegals our tax dollars, voting 10 times to protect sanctuary cities, to release dangerous illegal immigrant criminals onto our streets, and voting to give amnesty to over 11 million illegals, including those convicted of crimes like aggravated assault, drunk driving, and child abuse. Tell Senator Brown.
Lodged into a notified tree. 3 years later, Henry was using dynamite to remove the tree. He blew it up, the explosion sent the bullet out of the tree, and it...
Be advised, you still have squad mates outside the safe
zone.
zone.
3 years, but it's finally caught up to him. Coming in at number 3, we have the Hoover Dam. Over the course of the construction of the Hoover Dam, there were 96 deaths. The first death was of a man who it occurred on December 10th, 1922. He sadly lost his life after drowning. 14 years later, on the exact anniversary of this guy's death, his son, tax attorney, lost his life. He fell from the electrical tower and died. Also, 5 deaths reported during the construction of the dam, being the first man to die and the last man were father and son. It happened on the exact same day. We have Jack Frost and other stories. Some things are just meant to be, and you'll believe this once you hear this next story.
I'm not a very good teacher, but I mean, I could try.
When he stopped by an antique bookshop in the 1920s.
What words, I mean, 'cause I hear you speaking a little bit of English, so what words do you not know?
That was her favorite book as a child. Well, when he opened the book, it had her name written inside of it. It read, Ann Parrish, 20910 Weber Street, Colorado Springs. So not only did it have Anne's name in the book, but it had the place she grew up in, Colorado Springs.
Enemy, visual.
Seems like Anne was meant to find that book. And in our number 1 spot today, we have the 2 presidents. Turns out that Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy share a
Enemy
lot of
soldier
common
incoming.
coincidences. Besides the fact that they both were American presidents, they both were killed by a gunshot wound to the back of the head. They both passed away on a Friday. They both died before a celebration. Kennedy was assassinated on the eve of Thanksgiving. Lincoln died right before Easter. And each were accompanied by their wife and another couple when they were killed. But that's not all. They both had best friends named Billy Graham. Both Billys had 4 children, and they both had secretaries named after the other president. Kennedy's secretary was Miss Lincoln. Lincoln's secretary was John. But wait, there's even more. Both of their successors were vice presidents called Johnson. The freakiest coincidence, Lincoln was shot in Ford's theater. Kennedy was shot in a Lincoln made by Ford.
Number 10, twins named Jim. Okay, we'll kick this part 2 off on a lighter note. This one gets a little dark, so we'll ease our way in, you know? The twins named Jim. Okay, that sounds like a 2026 comedy hit already. Back in 1979, a set of twins were reunited when they were 39 years old at the time. This was, of course, a big moment in their lives. For 37 years, they barely knew each other's existence. Then when they finally met, the long-lost twins had more in common than they could have ever thought. For starters, both had been named Jim. I spoiled that in the fun title earlier. But their adoptive parents both named the lads Jim. That's insane. Jim, of all names, really? And both Jims just happened to love math and carpentry. Both also had jobs in security. And both also had ex-wives named Linda. And they both since married a woman named Betty. This isn't like, what? Imagine meeting another you, and he's like, oh yeah, I also love knitting and Autobots. What are the odds? No, that's too eerie. You're an alien clone. Something's afoot here. Get out of here. I'm just meeting a long-lost twin at 40? No way. Number 9, Stephen Hawking. Time is relative and fascinating and all that confusing stuff. There's so many components of our universe that we still don't even understand. James Webb is out here making people turn to atheists all of a sudden. The universe is bigger than we all think, yet somehow it still gives us these once-in-a-lifetime coincidences. Or as I say, quantum thoughts. Stephen Hawking's death occurred on Einstein's 139th birthday, which is also Galileo's 300th death day, and also Pi Day. This was March 14th. My dad has the same birthday as Daniel Radcliffe, and they're both wizards, so I don't know. Just saying. These birthday coincidences are getting out of hand. Coincidences. There it is. Got it. Number 8, Atomic Survivor. On August 6th, 1945, the United States detonated 2 nuclear explosives over the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This, of course, was devastating. The results in this reaction, the blast and the radiation they both caused, took the lives of nearly 90,000 people. It was horrible. But in 2009, the Japanese government confirms that there was at least one man who was in each city on both days of the reactions. And he lived to tell the tale. On August 6th, Tomo Yamaguchi was in Hiroshima on a business trip. As I was walking alone, I heard the sound of a plane. Just one, he told a British newspaper. I looked up into the sky and I saw the B-29 and it dropped 2 parachutes. I was looking up into the sky at them and suddenly it was like a flash of magnesium, a great flash in the sky, and I was blown over just like that. And by August 9th, he returned home to Nagasaki only to experience the trauma for a second time. Despite the double radiation exposure, Yamaguchi lived to be 93 years old, which is incredible. Sadly passed away from stomach cancer. Number 7, Julianne Kopka. Miss Julianne has a 2-for-1 when it comes to survival stories. I had to include it. Her story starts out on Christmas Eve, a lovely day, 1971, when she was just a teenager. She was on Lanza Flight 508. The plane was struck by lightning. This is a situation that didn't really happen. The plane started to disintegrate midair. Yeah, it was all that. It was felt like a blanket event for Julianne. She found herself still strapped to her seat 2 miles above the Peruvian rainforest. She was injured, full bruises, broken collarbone, but she was alive after she landed. And in fact, she was the only person who had been on a flight that was still alive. Just fell out of a plane and lived to tell. That is crazy. That is back insane. But it's like you're out of the fire into the frying pan at this point, right? Now you're in the wilderness, all alone, with no food, just, a little bit of candy, if anything, from the plane. Julianne had found a small stream which she began to wade in downstream. She traveled along it, and the insects in the jungle were eating her alive. And sorry, this next part is gross, but maggots had infected her arm. It was like bad, worse, even worse. Now we're flowing down a river and maggots are eating me. This is incredible. Julianne ended up coming across a sort of encampment where she found a few supplies, and she was so smart that was able to give herself a little bit of first aid, which included pouring gasoline on the infected arm, which then led to all the disgusting bugs and maggots leaving it. Because they're like, hey, I'm not a fan of gasoline. Lunch is over. See you later. And then just a few hours later, a few lumber workers found her. And where she was then airlifted for medical treatment. Now, in 2000, her story was told through the documentary titled Wings of Hope, which was directed by Werner Herzog, who particularly took interest in the story because, one, it's obviously incredible. As I was just explaining it, I read this and I'm like, it's crazy. But two, Werner Herzog also had a seat booked on that flight, and he would have been on that same flight if it wasn't for a last-minute change of plans. I can't even, that should be number one, really. Number 6, Comet family. Okay, this one's good. The odds of being hit or killed by a meteor are 1 in 2 million, or something like that, right? It's crazy. But even so, back in 1954, residents in Talladega County, Alabama, noticed a ball of fire heading towards the Earth. Now, back then, we didn't have Twitter, right? We couldn't warn anybody that a meteor was possibly going to hit us. We also really didn't know if it was going to hit or not, or how big it was, so it was alarming. Especially for Anne Elizabeth Hodges, who got hit by said space rock. Yeah, she only got grazed, but with these odds, it's still possible. Wild. Now, cut to recent history, the Comet family in France. Their house was hit by a meteor. I'll say that again. The Comet family was hit by a... You get it, there we go. As somebody with the last name McWaters, I'm a little worried that I might drown now. I don't know. Last names seem to be a little bit of a tip-off, it seems. And number 5, World Cup. An episode from The Simpsons back in 1997 called The Cartridge Family shows Mexico and Portugal going head-to-head in football. Like, like soccer football, not like, football. You get it. Springfield residents are told to go see this match to determine which nation is the greatest on Earth, Mexico or Portugal. So when the 2018 World Cup then rolled around much later, unintended, fans were excited that this was now coming true, but at the same time, had a lap determining that Ronaldo must have missed that penalty intentionally so that the prediction would come true. That's like the theory now, that Ronaldo missed to make The Simpsons correct. A lot of theories for that one, it's always fun. But recently it's been announced that Qatar will host the tournament in November and December 2022 rather than usual June-July dates. Another World Cup, another chance for The Simpsons to add another prediction to their already impressive list. That's a creepy show. I have another Simpsons one coming up, but we'll see. Number 4, Mars Life. And we're back. There it is. There's the next Simpson one. That fast. There we go. Let me ask you lovely people a question. If you could go to Mars right now with like 3 of your friends, would you do it? Keep in mind, it's really boring. Unless you're an astronaut botanist like Matt Damon, you'll probably have a rough go. But in the future, would you do it? I would. I'd go with like one person, Going to Mars might be as simple as going to the mall. Apparently, The Simpsons have an episode where they show a family visit to the Big Red Planet come 2051. But honestly, I feel like we're going to get there a lot sooner. SpaceX is already planning to send people up there. It's a 9-month trip, so make sure your phone's charged. But it's actually more beneficial for the team to travel during these peak times in the 2030s and in the 2050s. Because during these years, trips to the planet will be shorter and will coincide with periods of the solar maximum. So while this one may or may not come true in 2022, let me tell you, it's right around the corner. Or maybe in 2050. Number 3, Titanic inspection card. This inspection card once belonged to a woman named Marion Meanwell. And you're probably thinking, could it possibly be worrisome or, creepy about an inspection card? Well, it shows how Marion was not intended to be on the Titanic that fateful day, but by some turn of events, she unfortunately found herself as one of the passengers. The card shows that she was originally meant to be traveling on a ship called the Majestic, and for some reason the trip she originally had planned was delayed, and now she instead was assigned to the ill-fated Titanic. The eerie part is you can see the word Majestic was crossed out on her card, which then shows us the change in plans. If only people were able to see what was about to strike and they could have somehow warned her. That's the creepy thing about these coincidences. Sometimes they're just bad, You fall off a plane and have maggots all over you and survive, or you can go from one cursed ship to another. Number 2, Edgar Allan Poe. Okay, this is a story that actually convinced me that Edgar Allan Poe is for real a time traveler, so buckle up, grab a soda. Because 2 separate stories that he wrote both turned out to be exceptionally true and real, but not until after they'd been written. It's a good one. Firstly, Poe's only completed novel was published in 1838, and it tells the tale of mutiny on a whaling ship lost at sea. These men on a ship realize that they're doomed and need to resort to extreme measures in order to stay alive. So they begin drawing straws to see who they're going to sacrifice to save food. A boy named Richard Parker drew the shortest straw and therefore became the next meal. Dark. Let's move on. Let's fast forward to 46 years now to 1884, and in real life, also, I might add. There are now 4 men who have been set adrift after the sinking of a yacht. These men found themselves in a similar predicament to the novels, and I kid you not, they ended up taking the same route and elected to sacrifice a cabin boy. A cabin boy also named Richard Parker. Odd, right? Okay. Cut to 1840, Poe penned the gruesome story The Businessman, in which the narrator suffers a traumatic head injury in his youth, and then later a violent life follows. We were to think about the story is that Edgar Allan Poe fully understood, or so it seemed, frontal lobe injury. Now, this was long before it was ever even studied or looked at, right? This type of study didn't arrive until 1848. An actual neurologist, Eric Altschuler, recently wrote how there's a dozen symptoms and he knew every single one. It's so exact and it's so weird, it's like he had a time machine. End quote.
You're losing ground. Move it.
Some days.
Enemy soldier incoming.
It's so weird, it's like he had a time machine. End quote. Yeah, it's almost like he had a time machine. Did he? And finally, number one, Simpsons Dome in real life. Yeah, this one's gonna hit home. Let's do it. This one's gonna hit Dome. That didn't work. For this one, we're looking at the Simpsons movie, which still holds up. It's a fun time. But even though the pandemic, I saw personal domes come to life, right? It was so weird. Restaurants were making these like weird tents on sidewalks just to stay in business. But an even bigger idea came long before this. Back in the 70s, there were talks about putting a dome over Manhattan. This massive dome for Midtown that regulates weather and pollution, all that good stuff. Now, if that had been built, imagine what we would have done with it during the initial breakout during this pandemic. It would have been madness. And then in 2010, later on, the city called Eco City 2020 was planned out. It was supposed to be built in Siberia. It was announced in 2014 officially this climate-controlled, dome city, 4.5 square kilometers, all that good stuff. But since 2016, the project lost the funding. What do you guys think? Should we bring back domes and just, have a little personal bubble everywhere we go? Just lose the umbrella, live in a big glass ball forever over our city? I'd do it. That'd be kind of nice. It'd be like living in a Coca-Cola mist zone your entire life. Just kind of like, this is nice. Kick you off the list at number 10, the Hoover Dam coincidence. We'll kick this list off on a grim note, because why not? The Hoover Dam, this massive accomplishment. Its first victim, sadly, was a man named J.G. Tierney. It was December 20th, 1922, and the official death toll from industrial accidents during the construction of the dam from 1921 to 1935 was sadly around the 200 number. It was a lot of deaths. It was pretty sad. The earliest victims of the construction were both father and son. And if that's not coincidence enough, both of them died on the exact same day. Both passed on December 20th. J.G. Tierney sadly drafted.
Your squad is down. Stay alive to bring them back.
Random ass day.
Legendary musical neighbors. It's weird how similar some of your neighbors are, right? Like growing up, we had 3 Davids on our street. They all loved cutting their lawn at 7 a.m. What a coincidence, right? We all hated them. What a coincidence. While the 60s rock icon Jimi Hendrix and the 18th century composer George Frederick Handel were both neighbors. A couple hundred years apart, but they were both neighbors indeed. They lived in 23 Brook Street and 25 Brook Street in London. What are the odds, right? Had George had been born 200 years later, we would have gotten the greatest collab of all time. Yeah, if you're local, of course you'll know there's a site there now. It's a famous landmark. But in terms of coincidences, there's music in the air on Brook Street. Something's going on. I want to walk by and see even better playing the flute. Maybe I can play the flute on that block. Who knows? Number 5, Civil War coincidence. There's another war coincidence in this list, but I saved that for number 1 because it's too good. This one here is also pretty insane. The Civil War began in 1861 with the first battle of Bull Run. The Bull Run is a stream that passes through the farm of 46-year-old Wilmer McLean. Passes through his farm, right? The Bull Run is a stream that passes through the farm of a 46-year-old Wilmer McLean. This property was in Virginia, and now, of course, once the dust settled, the property was destroyed, so McLean left his home with his wife, and for nearly 4 years, the pair were considered safe while the war was otherwise changing history. Then in 1865, the war came to a close when Robert E. Lee surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant at the Appomattox Courthouse, which at the time was literally steps away from McLean's new property. Yeah, he saw the beginning and the end of the Civil War by accident. It's on front row too. What are the odds? Number 4, George D. Bryson. Back in the 50s, this story was spread all over. Back in the 50s in Louisville, a man named George D. Bryson was checking into a hotel room. Now he walked up and asked if there was any mail for him, which, on one hand, is an excellent bet. I'm gonna do that next time I go to a hotel for sure. Hey, got any mail? Classic, because you're just visiting them one time. There's no way there's gonna be mail. That's the joke, right? Except this time, there was. This time, the hotel manager said yes, and there was in fact mail from the previous one. The room, he also had the same name, George D. Bryson. I remember one time I met another McWaters, and he was not related to me, and he also was not thrilled that we had the same name at all. It was the most bizarre thing. I was like, hey, can we talk about this? He's like, yeah, cool. I'm like, Are you my brother? I don't want you to be anymore. Get out of here. Then I got Kyle, and I was like, you know what? Change your name. Now you're my new brother. Replace this guy. Number 3, Yanni and Laurel. Before we wrap up this curious list, we have to throw a fun recent one in as well. Remember this Yanni Laurel thing back in 2018? I only heard Yanni for like 2 weeks straight. I heard Yanni. That's it. For 2 weeks, guaranteed. I was determined that it was Yanni, okay? And then one day I listened, and it was Laurel. And then I couldn't go back. It was just Laurel all of a sudden. Like, it immediately just changed. It was a completely different word. I felt sick. I was like, is this real life? How's this happening? This got everybody talking. What is this phenomenon that happens? Same with the dress mishap. What is going on? Well, many believe these viral illusions are proof that we're living in a simulation. Yeah, these arguments, you know, the dress is blue, no, it's white, these situations prove that we perceive reality in our own individual way. Everybody is living an individual perceived reality, so sometimes it doesn't always align. Sometimes we hear what we want to hear, sometimes we hear and then sometimes we hear and it's completely different. I can't go back now, it's the worst. I hate this so much. The dress was back in 2015, the Yanni Laurel was 2018. I don't know, for you, listen to the Matrix. And you hate it. Next week I have a different first name, all of a sudden you're like, what? Number 2, miss unsinkable. It's one thing to narrowly miss a natural disaster or a massive accident, but to not miss a tragedy 3 times in a row, that sounds like a curse, if you ask me. That's for sure. Violet Jessup's brave soul survived 3 major ship disasters in history. She was born in 1887 in Argentina, and Jessup contracted tuberculosis at a young age and wasn't expected to live longer than a few months. She beat those odds and lived a healthy, relatively long life, which is shocking considering what I'm about to tell you. Violet, first of all, had a hard time getting hired as a stewardess on a ship because her youth and good looks were feared to distract crew and passengers. Yeah, you're too good looking to work on a ship. Welcome to the 1900s, thanks. Eventually, she got hired in 1910 to work aboard the HMS Olympic. Now, a year later, the Olympic collided with HMS Hawk, and the ship barely made it to shore. It was a tragedy. It was a huge disaster. Violet then served as a nurse for the Britannic right before World War I. The ship then collided with a German mine. Somehow survived. Britain swallowed in the water. This ran to safety. Afterwards, Violet worked on the Titanic. And on April 14th, 1912, she escaped another disaster on lifeboat 69. I mean, like, the odds that you survive 3 times in a row is one thing, but to experience 3 of those in a row? And finally, number 1. World War I soldiers. We have to finish on a grim note because this one is one of the most bizarre, in my opinion. When the First World War ended, the amount of British lives lost were around 1 million souls. The first reported casualty in World War I was a soldier named John Parr. And then after a countless number of lives were lost, the last soldier to die was a man named George Edwin Ellison. Now, both heroes' resting places are both in the St. Symphorian Military Cemetery, and they just happen to be 15 feet apart. And of course, this was not planned, nor were any of the entries on our list. It's just another bizarre coincidence that was discovered after the fact.
Starting off this countdown, we have the 4th of July. The 4th of July is a big celebration.
Come here, Nemo!
The holiday marks the signing of the Declaration of Independence. But did you know that a lot of U.S. figures have died?
I can't hear you. Your mic is muted.
In fact, 3 of the first 5 U.S. presidents died on this date.
Do that.
2 within hours of each other. John Adams and Thomas Jefferson both died on July 4th, 1826. The 5th president, James Monroe, exactly 5 years later, passed away as well. Seems to be a deadly date for presidents. Like, what?
Your squad mates redeploying. Well done.
Lysol laundry sanitizer kills 99.9% of bacteria. Clean is good. Sanitize is better.
Enemy soldier incoming.
Candidate for presidents. Like, what are the odds? In our next spot, we have Barbary Shore. Barbary Shore is a novel written by Norman Mailer. It's about a character who rents a room in a Brooklyn boarding house to write a novel. Then a minor character is introduced, and it's his neighbor who turns out to be a Russian spy. Well, after the novel was finished, Mailer's neighbor was arrested for being a Russian spy and hiding out in his apartment. Just like in the book he wrote, and he had no prior knowledge of his neighbor. In the same spot, we have The Omen. The Omen is a 1976 horror movie.
Okay.
First squad. example, special effects consultant John Richardson got into a crash and his assistant Liz Warren during an accident, similar to the death of a character in the actual film. That's not all. The screenwriter and executive producer claims that the strong violence experienced tragedy after working on the film. Shakespeare because I'm shook after hearing this. So, song 46 in the song reads, "Here was I like the song." The creepy part is that this is an anagram for William Shakespeare. Arranged letters and it spells his name. But wait, it gets weirder. The 46th word in Psalm 46 of the King James Bible is the 46th word from it is Shakespeare. How old was William Shakespeare when the King James Bible was first completed? Please don't try to explain this.
Time for pension. You're redeploying.
Highway is one of the songs but it also might be cursed. Why do I say that? Well, at least 6 people were killed in the Philippines between 2000 and 2010 while singing My Way. Karaoke is a pretty popular pastime in the Philippines. However, this song is not associated with bad luck there. One time, a man was shot by a security guard for singing this song badly out of volume. Others were killed for hogging the microphone, and quite a few were killed for singing the song off the beat. Due to the repeated deaths, the song is banned being sung or played during bars. In our fourth song today, we have the license plate. World War I began after Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated in his car on June 28, 1914. The car's license plate read AII-118. Which wasn't a big deal until people realized that this was the date that World War I ended, November 7th, 1918, aka 11/11/18, just like the license plate. Now, this car was placed in a museum in Austria and sat there for almost 2 decades before a British tourist noticed the significance of the license plate. So literally, World War I started and ended with this car. Coming in at number 3, we have Catherine and Mary Kelly. On November 28, 1888, a woman named Catherine Eddowes was arrested at the Warzone on the streets of London. When she was taken in by police, she gave them a fake name. She told them her name was Mary Kelly. Later, she was released. However, that night she was murdered by none other than Jack the Ripper. The previous story was that that same night, Jack went on to kill another woman, none other than Mary Kelly. Random fake name that Catherine gave the police, who was actually a real person and also
Yo, what's up with you, little bro?
How tragic. In our second spot, we have the Disney lovers. In the early 2000s, they through some old photos when they came across one of their father and their siblings at Disney. They spotted
Nigga already been hitting shit.
his family.
Nigga, I'm saying that we're already been loaded the game.
So not only did they go to Disney at the same time,
Y'all niggas live right.
they be in the same spot at the same time.
Y'all mean?
You're up fast, we're about to get easy.
I'm 393.
Years later, they decided to take their kids to Disney and recreate this iconic photo. And in our number 1 spot today, we have the lightning strike. There is a 1 in 500,000 chance of being struck by lightning. There's a 1 in 9 million chance of being struck by lightning twice. Rather than being struck by lightning 3 different times. This happened to a man named Major Walter Summerford. He was struck by lightning 3 different times throughout his life and survived. Not only that, but when he did pass away, his companion was also struck by lightning. What is that? Did he piss off Zeus or something?
Enemies
Or
are in the
ate
area.
the
Watch the
Simpsons
skies.
in general?
One of the longest running TV shows in history, The Simpsons are notorious for cynical, predicting a great expense, including the President of the United States was going to be Donald Trump. If you watched the episode of Donald Trump as president today, you would probably have thought it was just another comedic 6-year-old episode of the TV show to do the time. The thing is, they wrote that sucker 19 years ago. How did they get it?
Enemies dropping into the AO.
Scenes occurring in the show are eventually going to happen in real life, maybe. For this, they predicted a three-eyed fish, a circus movie,
Playtime's over. Stand by for deployment to the war zone.
I think we can safely put down The Simpsons as one large coincidence, considering the amount they've happened. They happen so often that the questions of whether they're psychic
Word came down. We are green to go. So gear up, grab your shoes. We're going to the war zone. Enemy activity will be high. Expect contact early and often.
Speaking of number 6, we have Royce Virgin. Are you ever right in the middle of a story when you're very first talking about there are two stories. One.
Resurgence. Survive to redeploy fallen teammates. Kill to bring them back faster. Alright, soldier, mark a drop point for your squad and go get after it.
Oh, speaking of that, Royce Virgin's loud and when the very stranger who saved his life strolled in right as he was taken, Royce used to be a business manager, and one night before the Vietnam Day in 1940, he got lost and tried to climb up the cliff on his plane. As he was nearing the edge, he almost fell, but then the hand of a man named Joe reached out to him. The two men lost contact, and they both joined the war, and then 25 months later, Burton had become a teacher, and he was in the middle of the story when Joe was not missing a beat. Burton said,
"The lead is yours. Stay relentless and secure victory."
What? These guys have been so much better 25 years.
Turn it down. Marking the rest of them. Enemy destroyed. Use your tac map to hunt down the rest of them.
Some people are so lucky. This couple got a physical sign that they were in the right place at the right time. Melody Kloska and Matt Burr were married on August 18th on the beautiful Wisconsin beach. A week later, they took their vows, placed them in a bottle, and watched them go on their merry way as they left his birth on Michigan, only to be recovered by Lynette and Fred Dubendorf. To their delight and surprise, the wedding date
turn that shit down, bitch.
On August 18th, 1979, just 28 years earlier. If that's not a sign of forever love, I don't know what is. Again, number 4, speaking of signs, many people often look for the right signs when making a big decision or when looking for love. After going through a rough breakup, Esther Bracken wrote her name on several dollar bills and promised herself that she would only marry the man who brought life back to her. Wow. You know, a few years later, a man named Paul dating Esther for a while, and he decided one day he's going to ask her to be his girlfriend. That same day, as he was going to pay for a sandwich, he noticed that his dollar bill had Esther's name on it written in pencil. Weird. He was just thinking about her. He decided to frame it and save it for her as a gift. When she got it, she gasped but didn't say anything until a few years later, which no one thinks it, when they were married. That was when she told him the story, and the two have lived happily ever since. Can't be explained, but it's pretty damn cute. Coming in number 3, Parent Trap. So first off, consider the chances of actually conceiving twins. About 1 in 250, so that's already a cool thing. But then imagine you pull a Parent Trap and discover you have actually had a twin your entire life, but you were separated at birth, and then you find out that not only do you look identical, your lives are too. This is exactly what happened to two men when they were reunited at age 39. They were both named James, they both grew up to be police officers, and both their wives were named Linda. Each also had a son named James Allen and a dog named Toy. Then they both got divorced and both married a woman named Betty. What are the chances of that? More like one in a billion than 1 in 250.
Number 2,
right,
JFK and Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln and JFK have some uncanny similarities, and it freaks me out. They were both elected to Congress 100 years apart in 1846 and 1946, respectively. They both became president 14 years later in 1860, 1960, and both died by a fatal gunshot wound to the head, and were succeeded by a man named Johnson, who, wouldn't you know, just so happened to be born 100 years apart. Some other coincidences, like them dying on a Friday, their family names containing 7 letters, and the fact that they were both female.
Stand by for redeployment.
You've got 2 presidents cut from an eerily similar cloth. So, what does this mean? I don't know, but it sure is freaky. Number 8. Double-sided experiments. In physics' famous double slit experiments, electrons are fired at a photosensitive screen through slits in a copper plate, usually producing an interference pattern that indicates wave-like behavior. Now, this type of experiment was first performed by Thomas Young in 1801 with a demonstration of the wave behavior of visible light. Now, at the time, it was thought that the light consisted of waves or particles, but with the beginning of modern physics, about 100 years later, it was realized that light could in fact show behavior characteristics of both waves and particles. Some have taken this to mean our simulation is conserving its resources and rendering certain things only when it knows we're looking at them. So does this mean anything? I'm not sure, but it is something to consider. Number 7. Mandela effect. The Mandela effect is an observed phenomenon in which a large segment of the population misremembers a significant event or shares a memory of an event that did not actually occur. Fiona Broom, a researcher, collected false memory when she discovered that a significant number the 1980s. In fact, the former president of South Africa was released from prison in 1990 and was very much alive at the time of the conference. Now, this has caused an uproar on the internet with people discussing their experiences. For example, some people have Mr. Monopoly wearing a monocle when he wasn't, Kit Kat with a dash in the middle, the Berenstain Bears, or the Berenstain Bears, whichever. The dash in the middle, the Berenstain Bears, or the Berenstain Bears, whichever you believe, and plenty more. Now, is this an accidental glitch in what we're remembering? Was it done on purpose? I don't think we'll ever know. Number 6, the Goldilocks zone. In astronomy and astrobiology, the circumstellar habitable zone, CHZ, or simply the habitable zone, is a range of orbits around a star within which a planetary surface can support liquid water given sufficient atmospheric pressure. The habitable zone is also called the Goldilocks zone, a metaphor allusion to the children's fairy tale of the Goldilocks and the Three Bears, in which a little girl chooses from sets of 3 items, ignoring the ones that are too extreme, too large or small, or too hot or cold, and settling on the one in the middle, which is just right. Earth exists in what astrobiologists call a Goldilocks zone, close enough to a star that greenhouse gases can trap heat to keep liquid water, but far enough that the planet does not become a hothouse. People believe that us living in such an orbital sweet spot is circumstantial evidence for a simulation. Let me say, if we were in a simulation, this would be the perfect place to keep us humans. Number 5. Glitches in the Matrix. With all computers, there can be technical difficulties, including glitches. Many people believe there are real-life glitches, when we're in a simulation. These glitches are events that seem compatible to errors in computer programs or their execution. Some examples of these include objects vanishing and sometimes reappearing, people being seen by different witnesses at different locations at the same time, or not being seen in places where they should be, aka people vanishing often for a considerable amount of times, often with multiple searches, and reappearing and claiming that they have never been stopped. Changes that convey familiar objects, and time slips and time freezes, where people interact with different time periods, all movements and noises cease over a relatively short or larger area. Now, some glitches have been caught on camera, and one very popular glitch that has been documented lately is girls finding a nail that was broken off, matching their same nail color / design in their room, but they are not missing any nails. So where did the broken nail come from? No one knows, but it freaks me out. 4. Doppelgangers. A doppelganger is a biologically unrelated look-alike or a double of a living person. As you might have heard, there are 7 other versions of you in this world. Now, a study of lookalikes and related people with faces so similar they could pass for twins as well as such pairs share genetic traits. Scientists study 32 pairs of individuals with uncanny similar headshots who are a part of a long-running project by a Canadian photographer to document these photos. Computer analysts who similar features also share more genetic variants than the less similar pairs, the researchers concluded. Now, that's a huge surprise because researchers are already using genetics to predict face shape, distance, and share DNA methylation patterns, chemical marks, controlling gene expression and shape our environment, reinforcing the dominant role
I got
DNA
Booker
alone
probably
plays
live
in
somewhere
determining our
rural.
appearance. Number 2, philosophers.
Why you gotta
Now,
live
throughout
here?
history, some of the world's most notable thinkers have laid
Don't
out their
think
own
shit like
notions and
me.
ideas about why reality may not be exactly
Mad
what
as
it
hell.
seems. According to built-in, a significant number of people regard the
Shit, what y'all trying to do, gang? It's hella people in the zoo.
of Plato's The Republic,
You up
or
here?
more specifically, the well-known
Hella people.
cave. In a nutshell, the
You get this work in.
allegory
You hear
features
me?
cave prisoners drawing
Yeah,
conclusions about
everywhere.
reality from the shadows of puppets they can't actually see. Basically, a prisoner who sees the shadow, despite a book, may think and draw assumptions from that shadow about what a book really is, but can only learn the truth if he breaks free and sees the actual book with his own eyes. He isn't the only philosopher, though, as others.
Here you go one. Right here, blue. Right here, blue.
Presented the idea that people being
Oh.
powerful enough to create an illusion that looks
Behind me, behind the booth.
so if these people are this, advanced technologies like computers, is it just a coincidence or is it more?
We got you
The
too.
man who survived 2 atomic. If you went to history class in high school, then you probably will remember hearing about the 2 atomic bombs that the U.S. dropped on Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. 90,000 people were killed due to the blast and the radiation. But in 2009, the Japanese government confirmed that a man was in both of these cities during their he survived both of them. Yes, a man named Juju Yamaguchi was on a business trip in Hiroshima on August 6th when he looked up at the sky and saw the B-29 and it dropped 2 parachutes. Before he knew it, he saw a great flash in the sky and he was blasted by the impact. By August 9, he was back home in Nagasaki recovering from the incident, only to endure it. Even though we would probably think that he might live long due to the radiation exposure, he actually lived to 93 and passed away in 2000.
Enemy soldier incoming. Gas is inbound.
It's raining like a motherfucker in this room. Grab that PDF. They upstairs or something.
You got reinforcements inbound.
Legislators
All
of the state
squad members
university
are in the safe zone.
professors are highly respected in the field. I had a class with the police sergeant.
Ooh, boy.
What's good, you guys? You know who it is, man. It's your boy, Mr. Williams. That's my name. Black, I know, love. Alright, so, man, we got 13.
Nah, nigga, don't run, nigga. Get this work, nigga. Get this work, nigga.
Kill confirmed, and we located the rest of them.
What? That's what we're here for, man.
Yo,
Enemies dropping into the AO.
seems to be doing his best to separate himself.
Dropping in, I see his Marquez. I'm reloaded.
Many individual rounds have been getting distinct eyes from fans since Cassie and those women sued him and exposed him for being nasty. His sons also got swept up in the drama, and they have been laid.
Yeah, he dropped in over there.
And slowly trying to social media, and fans are not here for that. People are
Look.
stepping up and bringing up a seat to expose Christian for being even worse than Diddy, and it looks like we might have a Diddy.
Shooting his ass. Oh, he's behind me, y'all. Yeah, fuck, nigga, get out of here, scram. He said scram.
I need mid-call round. That Diddy allegedly steps her out. You know, the same messy stuff that exposed to her by many other people. Anyway, fans totally had Christian and Diddy's See, and they said it was clear because at the time, the kids had nothing to do with it. I mean, sure, there were whispers about Diddy's son getting caught up in his street business, but fans couldn't shut that down. Saying the kid was the association, that's what their dad was likely up to no good. Even when Homeland Security swooped in, raiding Diddy's houses and detained Christian and his brother Justin.
That's the only way you can get away with not being guilty by association. Like shit. Yeah, let it be your friends or somebody.
Christian was sued by a woman who allegedly claimed that she was escorted
Guilty
by
just
Christian
because
while
you're
she was
smart.
working on a yacht that Diddy rented for his family holiday. The woman, Grace O'Connor, claimed that she was hired.
What the hell you watching? First 48?
Yeah, and Diddy hired her a few days before
Some
New
P.
Year's
Diddy
Day
shit.
2023. So that means that the alleged incident happened in December 2022. Grace claimed that she was doing her job during the shindig.
He up here. He
Straight
up
ahead.
here.
Straight ahead.
And King came on, after which she claimed he immediately became fixated on her uncomfortably so. She alleges King had her take a shot of liquor, and she claimed she immediately suspected it was Spike. But despite that, she was able to tell him to get off of her and leave her alone. She claims
Yo. Check me out.
despite her protestations. According to her, they had a bit of a tussle, but she managed to break free. He then told her to get back to work and find him a spot to crash on the yacht. She had
Right here, y'all. Just beat his ass. Just beat his ass. Beat his ass. Get this grenade launcher. He has some shit.
But she said she fought and
I see him. Don't worry about it.
Chuck charge out!
Gas is moving.
Going around on that ass.
Alright.
For Christian tried even about snitched on Diddy and Brian
Move to the safe zone.
He said, I could have walked out like when we were thinking we was running both our cribs. Too bad they ain't know we bought the one next door. That's what we did. They know something like an engine type of going stage.
Right here, y'all. Look, whole team. Whole team, y'all.
Area is hot.
No cap.
Which all they had was 50 Cent, who put the city on the map. Stop lying. It's been hated on by many men, and man, that's fine.
Oh, damn. Both of you niggas? I'm going to choose survival. I'll choose survival.
What is that? I have a true survivor. Come on in.
Hey, y'all heard him trolling me? I'm going to choose survival. Come here. Yeah, my team back. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna come spank you. Jupiter. I tried to beat his ass, y'all. He started spraying me. I'm trying to get the Jupiter nigga back. I need my get back. Okay. He got on a suit.
You're back on station. Go get after it. Fire sale active. Buy station prices have been reduced.
Given his family's history of treating women badly, fans are starting to compare him to Diddy, especially since the kitchen
You at that? You at Jupiter? Is that you?
Enemies are dropping into the air.
Is that you, Jupiter? Huh? Ah, fuck. Whole team gonna pop out like that? Damn, y'all boys pussy.
Resurgence window is ending.
So considering that Justin is surrounded by women who have been
I have no
It's cool. We gonna find him. We'll catch him in the last circle. We'll catch his ass. There you go, right there. Get his ass, Green. Fuck that nigga. Alright.
Earn this.
I tried to dip out that mud.
Hey, get out of there, Blue. It's two on the side. Get out of there. They right
Yeah,
here.
they deep as hell.
They jumping over the wall. They jumping over the wall. He right here. They over the wall. Two on. Get out of there. Behind you.
Your squad mates redeploying. Well
You
done.
back.
I'm gonna get
I'm
on
gonna
their
go
ass.
away
Don't
from
worry
these
about it.
motherfuckers till I get back.
He tried to get her to drink the drink that was spiked. You know, now that's crazy. That's some Diddy. That's some Diddy mess right there. That's some Diddy mess. That's crazy.
Hi.
Girl said she got the bruises on the shoulder, but he tried to force himself over her.
I don't wanna be in this relationship.
Resurgence has been deactivated. This is the end
I'm coming
game.
your way, Green.
Your squad mates back on station.
What's this nigga?
Good
Triple
work.
J.
Yeah, I had to get away. I had to get away from that shit.
Some nigga around me though. He out here is Mike.
Fuck that whole world of women out there really want to chill with you.
Dropping in there. Shit. Oh shit, my fault. Oh shit. Damn, that rain that hard as hell, man.
Enemies dropping into the
I
AO.
need some plates. Yeah, get out of here. Nigga, give me this gun. What are you talking about?
Gas is closing in.
Yeah, fuck it. Nigga, his gun and my Renetti.
Let me go to bed.
Are you black?
No, I'm Asian.
Alright, your squad's
Are you
in the
black?
safe
You're
zone.
black.
I'm Asian, my nigga. My dick 3 inches. Fuck, nigga. Yeah, scram, nigga. Scram.
Let's go to bed.
Oh, wicked! I'm getting chased by
he came out of nowhere like a fan dog. Like, are you black? Did you hear that thing? Did you hear that? Oh, I thought you just heard me say I waved it.
No, go behind you and press B on that. Behind you. Behind you. Look, no. Above you.
Oh no, nigga, all my followers, nigga, gonna find your PSN, gonna find you on here, nigga, and troll your bitch ass, cause I'm live, nigga.
Go on there and go right, and then go right again.
25 remains.
Press B on that. That
Bruh.
No, pick up that gun. No, go back.
But they about to come find me. I'm gonna be by myself.
Get in. Turn up.
I'm in the motherfucking attic.
Fuck you, boy. Shit, they told him I was in the water. Fuck. Hey, go get that Asian Blake nigga, bro. He down there violating, bro. Bring me back too. Bring me back one time.
Oh, both y'all dead? Damn.
Damn, you ain't got enough
I
either.
got enough. I ain't got, how much I need?
You need 3 racks. Oh, fuck. Damn, man. It's terrible.
Run that shit back. What's that?
Yeah. Ain't nobody running back. You ain't running back.
You made it to the top 10.
Yeah, I'm still here.
He had been in court wearing a smirk and made obscene gestures to the families of the victims, showing no remorse for his actions. In March 2013, Lake was sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole.
Oh, I when they do that, I be forgetting I even got an Amazon subscription.
Inmates broke out of the Helen Correctional Institution in Lima, Ohio. This situation was particularly alarming given Lane's criminal history for hours during the night. He was nowhere to be found until he was apprehended 6 months later in March 2016 amidst heightened security concerns. Lane was transferred to the Southern Ohio Correctional Facility in Utah, a fortress-like maximum security prison designed to house the most dangerous inmates. A friend of Lane spoke with CNN, describing him as just a very normal teenage boy, who expressed being in complete shock with the recent incident. She noted that although Lane often appeared sad, he seemed like he was moved down his behavior. Another friend shared insights of Lane's school life, revealing that he was regularly teased by his peers. This bullying led Lane to reward others, making him reluctant to share personal details or reveal his experiences. But these accounts raised a critical question, and the difficulties Lane faced at home, and the bullying would justify his actions. Alyssa Bustamante.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
I never have. Never seen other cases. In a chilling episode that shook the nation, Alyssa Bustamante, a 15-year-old Missouri, became infamously known as the Missouri teen thrill killer. Her heinous act involved the calculated murder of her 9-year-old neighbor, Elizabeth Holte. Alyssa Bustamante appeared to be an ordinary teenage girl, but her internet persona revealed a far darker side. This hidden darkness erupted on October 21st, 2009, when Bustamante lured her 9-year-old neighbor, Elizabeth Holte, into the woods. There, she strangled the young girl, slit her throat, and stabbed her in the chest with a kitchen knife. After the murder, Alyssa buried Elizabeth's body in a shallow grave she had hammed up behind their house. This brutal act seemed to be a manifestation of Alyssa's most horrific fantasies. Her public MySpace and YouTube profiles disturbingly listed killing people and cutting as her hobbies, hinting at the violent thoughts she harbored. On the day of the murder, Alyssa recorded in her journal, revealing her homicidal thoughts and expressing a chilling curiosity about what it felt like to take a life. She wrote, "I just killed someone. I strangled them and slit their throat and stabbed them. Now they're dead. I don't know how to feel ATM. It was amazing. As soon as you get over the oh my god, I can't do this feeling, it's pretty enjoyable. I'm kind of nervous to take you away. Okay, I gotta go to church now. Hello." In the evening of October 21st, 2009, after Patty Price reported her daughter Elizabeth Holte missing, police launched an urgent search. The investigation soon led to Alyssa Bustamante's home, where interviews with her family and the discovery of her journal containing incriminating details pointed to her involvement. Confronted with her journal entries during a rigorous interrogation, Bustamante was pressured into confessing to the crime. She tried to play innocent at first, but then the police told her that they'd found the journal.
"We have your diary. We read your diary, including your last entry."
She pushed her for harm, having nowhere to go. She initially admitted it was an accident, but it all didn't last long. She confessed to being involved 5 days prior to Elizabeth's death. Then the investigator pointed out that an autopsy would reveal exactly how Elizabeth died. He pressed her further by asking how did she kill her, to which Alyssa made a confession. At her 2012 trial, Alyssa Bustamante, tried as an adult despite a turbulent childhood, pled guilty to second-degree murder to avoid a life sentence without parole. This means there's a possibility of parole after 30 years. However, an additional conviction for armed criminal action means that even if she secures parole in 2024, she faces another 30 years, pushing her earliest possible release to 2054 at the age of 60. The next killer kid is...
Damn, so what? She got back 94?
Left alone to play, and a 6-year-old girl ends up dead. Was this merely a case of child's play gone horribly wrong, or was there something more sinister at work? On July 28, 1999, in Broward County, Florida, 12-year-old Lionel Tate found himself alone with his 6-year-old cousin, Tiffany Unick. That day tragically ended with an event that would see Tate become the youngest...
Use this time for some target practice. Real things coming soon.
Evening, while Kathleen Gossett Tate was resting upstairs, she left Tiffany Unick in the care of her son, Lionel Tate. Shortly after, Tate alerted his mother.
Enemy soldier incoming.
Investigation later
people hold their kids, bro. Not responsible.
Including fractured skull, broken rib, and internal hemorrhage. Tate, however, claimed the injuries resulted from imitating. During the trial, Tate's defense presented the argument that Unick's death was a tragic accident, suggesting that the 12-year-old, who weighed 170 pounds, was merely television with Tiffany, who weighed just 48 pounds. However, their defense failed to sway the jury.
January 2001 when Tate was only 15. He was convicted of first-degree murder. Law, Tate was convicted of first-degree murder without the law stipulates that no one who committed an act like this.
Enemies dropping into the AO.
You the size of the brown man.
During the sentence,
Come here, dog. What you thought?
Tate was sentenced to the necessity for the prosecution to demonstrate his intent or understanding of the lethal consequences of his actions. Understandably, the sentence sparked controversy, given that Tate was only 12 years old at the time of the murder, while his victim
All stations, green light. We are deploying to the war zone.
She wasn't even no big old girl. You know he was way bigger.
This is your family.
You a kid.
And them niggas ain't dying for real. You don't know that shit fake for real.
Activity will be high.
You see, you gonna murder probably, but it ain't no shit about to be able to wrong with you.
I'll see you on the other side. Resurgence. Survive and your team can redeploy. Eliminate targets to bring them back faster.
I'm trying to catch this boat.
Flanking here.
Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
Damn it.
What I'm about to share with you will send chills down your spine. For the Bever brothers, the pursuit of becoming famous drove their insane actions. Detective Rihanna Russell, who interviewed the younger brother Michael, reported they wanted to kill at least 50 people. They wanted to be famous. They wanted a Wikipedia page. They wanted media coverage. Unfortunately,
He downstairs, y'all. He downstairs.
You got reinforcements inbound.
Michael, age 16, had secretly amassed a
Nigga,
collection
don't
of
run,
archives
nigga.
which they used to
Bitch ass nigga.
The horrifying tale discovered Michael secretly drew his sister into the bedroom under the pretense of showing us.
Oh my gosh.
Severely wounded by slashing her throat and stabbing her. What did we say?
I said don't run. I said don't run.
Mark
What are you
remaining
doing?
operators from that squad.
He
Hunt them
suffered at
down.
least 48 knife wounds upon confronting them. Time was spent. The brothers continued to find the spree from room to room. Their father, David Bever, 52, endured 28 stabbings and numerous blunt-force wounds. Their youngest brother, Christopher, just 7, received 6 stabbings. The brothers then took their sister, Victoria, 18, stabbing her 18 times across the neck and chest.
Your squad mates redeploying. Well done.
Bloody chaos, Daniel, 12, managed to lock himself in a room in the corner. However, he was tricked into opening the door by Michael, who acted as a victim himself. Once inside, the brothers stabbed Daniel 9 times. Daniel's quick thinking and call for help played a crucial role in saving his sister's also aged 2, Crystal, aged 13, as police quickly arrived at the house, but were soon located by the police cage. Then Crystal, a survivor of the
boy, first got them.
identified the older brother's robbery. Which they pleaded not guilty. In 2016 and 2018,
Prescott, bro, what's going on? You good? Where you been?
Hey, my son, man. My son, man. My son had my control.
Oh, okay, blood. That's just good. Just put in that work, Zaddy. No Diddy. No Diddy.
Got gas moving in.
Arroyo, who had recently moved into her great uncle's home on Johnson Street, was living there with Ana Vasquez Rodriguez and her grandson. The house, where tensions were already high, became a
Diddy
scene of violent
Diddy got to get the crowd going.
Arroyo's great uncle had planned a trip to New York.
20 years straight.
Custody, but was delayed due to car troubles, causing Arroyo significant frustration and agitation as the day went on.
You're down one squad mate. We'll get you redeployed faster. All squad members are in the safe zone.
Why he a mark?
Stabbing the head of a 68-year-old woman 70 times. At the time of this horrific act, the only other person present in the house was the victim's grandson, who was playing a video game wearing a headset, completely unaware of the tragedy unfolding. After the murder, Arroyo took a shower, discarded her blood-stained clothes in a nearby
dumpster and then coldly informed the grandson that his grandmother
Enemies deploy the counter
discovering the
UAV.
horrible reality. The grandson immediately dialed 911 and police swiftly arrived at the scene. The breakthrough came when video surveillance footage provided by the four witnesses of Arroyo disposing of the clothes contradicted her initial claim that she was outside with the dog and had seen a masked man fleeing the scene.
You got a
Once in
loadout drop
custody,
inbound.
Arroyo's demeanor shifted as she made several incriminating admissions spontaneously. Heavenly Arroyo stood in the court with a book, smiling.
You're getting another chance. Make it count.
Yeah, Christine, she don't know what that's life about.
2023, Arroyo, at 18, pleaded guilty Tuesday for fraud severe.
Your squad mate's back on station.
Martin Christian was guilty of 19 years. Sierra Hudson, how does a teenager end up committing such a brutal act? Dapper brothers sought media attention through heinous crimes.
Signal confirmed. Good kill.
Ah, that's fuck, nigga, boy. Fuck.
Sierra Hudson, then 16, her 18-year-old boyfriend, Aaron Guerrero, were briefly
Prescott back.
before their relationship was curtailed by their parents.
Yeah, I'm back, guy.
For Los Angeles on April 8th.
I was just talking shit. Oh, he gonna blame the kid.
Circular sword.
He back, he back.
Bleach, lighter fluid, gloves, and a drop.
Stand by for redeployment. We're outside the top squad. Let's push harder to break in.
You dropping in? Alright, you see him. Two of them dropping in now. One. Look, hey, look, they everywhere. Like roaches.
After you run from on May 26, 2022, Guerrero and Sierra also faced the consequences to 9 counts, including.
Don't worry about it. We got you right here. Don't worry about nothing. Ooh, it's two of them dropping in. Oh, it's two of them we need y'all niggas, bro. Don't even run up. Don't even run up. We gonna die. Don't even run up. Don't even run up. Don't even run up. I told you. Look, he running down. Damn. He
Story of Roxanne's
fuck.
Beginning with her adoption from Poland at the age of
Stay alive. Stay alive. Choose life. Stay alive. Oh, he trying to mark me. He marking me. Stay alive, G. Stay alive. Fuck you, man. See, I knew it was a good thing you came back, though.
That night, Roxanne attacked her younger brother with a fillet knife, aiming for his
You choose life. Stay alive. We on the way.
alerted the parents, and Roxanne fled the scene, escaping.
Time for vengeance. You're redeploying.
Soon found by the police due to the premeditated nature.
Hey, one following you, Blue. He see you dropping. Matter of fact, he dropping right here. He on the roof.
Moving this way.
I got him. I'm marked in green. He on the roof. It's another dropping there too. Look. He can drop in there. He dropped in over here. Hey, speed.
They didn't believe she was intended to harm and felt she was coerced into accepting the plea. Roxanne's mother, Lorene Sikorsky, voiced her distress. She is in desperate need of continuous psychological help. She is still fragile, and an adult prison can shatter her delicate world. How will sentencing her as an adult help her? Is this justice? Roxanne also shared her side of the story.
Fuck, alright.
Enemy soldier incoming.
Yeah, fuck, nigga. Yeah, you better scram, nigga. You better scram.
Stay on top of the building.
Yeah, he popped me. He popped me. His boy popped me, but I had a nigga on. His boy definitely popped me.
1963, the tranquility of suburban New York was shattered by a devastating act of violence. 13-year-old Eric Smith encountered 4-year-old Derek Murray, who was en route to a summer camp. In a sinister
Get ready.
Smith
You're
lured
redeploying.
the young boy into a secluded wooded area with the guise of showing restrictions. There, he mercilessly ended the young boy's life by
Get
first
ready.
strangling
Resurgence window is
until
about
he
to
passed
close.
out, then by dropping a large rock on his head. He then took Kool-Aid from Robbie's lunchbox
Hostile
and poured
Guardian
it into
heavy
Robbie's
deployed.
open wounds. Later that day, the reality of the dark tragedy unfolded when Derek's
Area. Destroyed. Use your tac map to hunt down the rest of them.
only yards from the perpetrators still free. Without the fear for the safety of their own children.
Squad mates redeploying. Well done.
Innocent-looking Eric Smith by August
Zone. You got a lot of ground
Eric
cover.
professed
Watch out, Green.
Smith found people for the police.
Terrible thing was done.
I can't even. I don't even know what to call it. They on the ground though. Ooh, he gotta run.
Eric was subsequently tried as an adult, marking him as the youngest murder defendant in New York State history. During his trial, specialists conducted extensive medical testing, including assessments of his brain function and hormone levels, but found no abnormalities that could explain his violent actions. Court records
Resurgence. Go get your revenge. Down to you, soldier.
Eric was
Stay
convicted
sharp.
of second-degree murder and sentenced on November 7th, 1994. Just 14 years of age, Eric was sentenced to the maximum term available for juvenile offenders.
Enemy soldier incoming.
In prison, Eric Smith served nearly 3 decades in office. During
Your squad mate's back on
Smith
station.
was denied parole.
Good work. Be advised, Resurgence is no longer active. This is for keeps.
Over the years, Smith had expressed remorse for his actions.
Whole team here. Whole team here. Found they had.
Parole and released from prison. Josh
Yeah. Sweet.
This is the case of Joshua Phillips, who went into prison as a child in 1999 at the age of 15 and has now become a full-blown man.
25 are left.
Convicted of
Stay
falsely
sharp out there.
for the death of 8-year-old Matthew Clifton on November 3rd, 1998.
Got 10 squads active in the field.
8-year-old Maddie Clifton was reported missing.
Fit too. Good as them, old as them, old enough to know that.
Gas is closing in.
400 local volunteers have tirelessly searched the area for any sign of history. Phillips is also research. Despite these efforts, the weekends are no trace of him. Then, on November 10th, the staff of the schedule was
Teammate.
on further investigation,
Need necroplasm.
No.
Less than 25, we're still standing. It's a valiant effort. Keep your head up. Return to base with you.
Disturbing. Viewer's discretion is advised. On November 3rd, 1998, a tragic sequence of events took place that changed the lives of Joshua Phillips and others. According to Phillips, 8-year-old Maddie Clifton became baseball. Phillips, who knew he wasn't allowed to have friends over while his parents were away, agreed to play. The game took a heavy team, and Phillips accidentally hit Clifton in the eye with the baseball, causing her a significant injury. Panicked and fearful of his father's reaction, his father had a history of alcoholism and was strict. Phillips dragged Clifton inside his house